genre.
Hello and welcome back to The Doctor's Companion. I'm Nick Jimenez.
I'm Scott Corelli.
And I'm Cass Fredrickson.
And today on the show, we will be discussing The Well, the third episode of Doctor Who Series 2, and an unexpected sequel to an all-time banger from the show's previous era.
Mm-hmm.
This was written by Russell T. Davies with a co-writing credit by, why did he even try when I don't have the name in front of me?
Sharma Angel Wildfall.
Sharma Angel Wildfall. Thank you, Scott.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, time of recording. We all just got done watching the episode. Cass, what were your thoughts? I mean, so this is the first time I feel compelled to do like a spoiler warning if you haven't listened to the episode yet and don't know what this was unexpectedly a legacy sequel or a follow-up to a past episode. But yeah, and continuing our theory, this was kind of like a return of the vibe of last season's Boom. A dark, militaristic, dramatic episode. Cass, what were your thoughts?
This was really good. I think because it is a sequel to one of like the best episodes of Doctor Who, like period, I think it like suffers a little from comparison, but I was really creeped out by this, which is the goal. And I really liked Ncuti Gatwa in this. And there were a couple of things that made me like literally point at the screen, like the Leonardo DiCaprio thing. Which I'm sure we'll get into because I have a weird theory about it. But no, I enjoyed this a lot. And I really hope that like the season continues to just get exponentially better than the episode previous, because like this was really good.
Nice. Scott, thoughts on The Well?
I think the standout from this episode for me was Rose Ayling-Ellis as Alice. I think she gives a phenomenal performance in an episode that unfortunately I felt was dumb as a box of rocks.
Oh no.
It's reverse Boom, everybody. He's the Nick this season.
I really didn't care for this, and I was shocked by how much people really liked this, because I thought that it was I don't understand what this has to do with Midnight as an episode. Like I understand they explained it, but what does standing behind someone have to do with repeating them and syncing up with them the way that they did in Midnight? Like, I don't see the connection between the two things. So I don't know how this is a sequel. And this is more the fault of James Cameron than anyone else. But I swear to God, can we just get one sequel to a sci-fi beastie that doesn't involve the military? Just one. The space military. Like, just one. They did it with the Angels. And now they're doing it with Midnight. And
That's
just
so
like
funny.
it felt like a million things that I had seen before. And I swear to God, when Belinda started explaining the concept of something being behind someone, I was like, what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? Why do we need a diagram for this? Do you see when you stand here and she's here, something can be directly behind her and you might not see it, but if you cross over there, you'll be behind her and then they can attack. Yeah, that's how being behind someone works. What the fuck are you talking about? I really didn't like this. I really didn't like the outfit change this time. It's fun when they're in like a time period. You know, it's like a fun outfit change, but like, how the fuck did they know what the uniforms were of the place that they were going to like dress up as? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And I'll be honest, this is one of those times where the Doctor not having a uniformed costume that he wears kind of like took out a little bit of the fun, because like the fun of an episode like this is having a bunch of military guys all in the same uniform and the Doctor just strutting around in a rainbow kerchief or whatever the fuck, you know, like that's, if you just put on like regular clothes, you know, and it was just like a different outfit, whatever, like he doesn't have a uniformed outfit, obviously, but if you'd just been wearing an outfit, I feel like I would have had more fun with that aspect of it, of just like the visual of like, oh, the Doctor's just wearing like normie clothes surrounded by a bunch of people in uniform. Like, that's silly fun. That's what Doctor Who looks like. But like them wearing the same uniforms as the military people, I was like, this doesn't even feel like Doctor Who. Like, that's not what Doctor Who is. To me, I don't know. I don't know why I'm so bothered by this season. It's really frustrating me because I'm like, it's like, yeah, like a sequel to Midnight. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. And then I'm like, I don't know what this is and what it has to do with Midnight other than you telling me that it has something to do with Midnight. To a point where like Russell T Davies doesn't co-write things a lot with people. And I wonder if, I mean, I have no way of proving this and they'll never say otherwise, but I do wonder if Sharma Angel Wallfall was brought on, wrote this episode, and then Russell read it and was like, this is cool and creepy, the idea of something right behind you. What if this was just a sequel to Midnight? And just like added in the stuff about it being a sequel to Midnight, even though that doesn't really make any sense. And that makes me sad for her, who may have written a really cool original episode, and then Russell turned it into a sequel to one of his best episodes. But I don't think that this deserved to just be a sequel to it doesn't, I don't know. It just doesn't work for me, unfortunately. I'm so sorry. I don't like being a bummer. I really don't like being a bummer,
it's
but
okay.
I was really excited because everyone seemed so excited about this one. And then watching it, I was just like, man. But like I said, the highlight was that lead guest performance by Rose Ayling-Alice, who I just think absolutely fucking wrecks house in every scene she's in. She's so good.
Yeah, Rose Ayling-Ellis, not a lot of credits, time of recording. You know, she was in A Murder They Hope, which I don't know what that is. So, 131 EastEnders episodes, like any British actor. But what
yeah, that's like 2 weeks worth or something.
Yeah,
right?
sure, about 2 weeks out of drama school. I think highlight for episode for me as well. I mean, not to take away from Rose Ayling-Ellis, but California Dunn as Shia, I thought also was like a fun supporting performance as kind of like the sensible Marine captain leader. But we'll get to kind of where narratively that kind of fell short for me towards the end, or I found wanting more. I think I'm somewhere between the middle of the both of you this week. I enjoyed what a vibe shift this was after 2 kind of whimsical episodes in a row. And I thought this was like a fun. If we keep doing the transformation, like the costume changes, because what I really kind of admired about this week is it was literally the same shot sequence of Devil's Cord and then Lux last week of like they come in. It almost felt like something from a role-playing game or a Magical Girl anime where it's like the same animation but like different suits. And so if they commit to that, where every episode this season has to have a 15-second sequence of like a pop song playing, a needle drop, and Belinda the Doctor coming on being like, hey, cool, oh look at you, hey, oh yeah, cool, and then they just go like, I will kind of have to admire the commitment to the bit at that point.
I'll admire the commitment to the bit while crawling out of my fucking skin. But
especially because it seems like next week they're back in 2025,
right,
England. Like, hey, whoa.
Which, by the way, how the fuck did they get back there? I thought they were locked out. What happened?
Maybe
we'll
it's
see.
like the year before. I don't know.
it's 2024, right? Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. That's I didn't even think about that. That's really interesting. Yeah, Midnight isn't an episode I've revisited very often because it is so it's a harrowing watch. It's very it's dark, it's really uncomfortable. It's kind of about the decay of the community spirit, the decay of the decay of humanity in a microcosm, and it ends with the doctor being like, "Oh wait, shit, maybe I can't always appeal to humans' better nature, or maybe like fear and paranoia sometimes is more powerful than a skinny hot guy saying Allons-y, and I don't think this episode touches that level of getting like, you really felt like they reduced 10 to like, 15 says it when 15 says it's the most afraid I've ever been was that adventure. I'm like, yeah, dude, like even still after all these years, that still kind of rings true. I don't think you've ever been that shook at the end of a story. And this was, I guess, similar to the Angels two-parter that Scott's referencing. It kind of falls short of the original, in my opinion, of like, it's like, okay. And and this Doctor Who Unleashed, they kind of, RTD reasons it as like, oh yeah, it's been 400,000 years. So like this creature has evolved its game. Whereas before it was like repeating. And that was how it was like fucking with you. This time it's like behind you. And it's like, okay, I like the idea in a vacuum of this creature evolving its game and playing with you in a different way. But at what point? Because like if the Angels were like, oh, now it's if you hear them, it's like, well, then at what point are they not the Angels anymore? And like, what are the rules of this creature then now with 2 stories under its belt? Like, what is this thing? Like, what are its rules? What are its and like and I kind of even like had forgotten the repeating until I was watching Doctor Who Unleashed, and I was like, oh fuck, that's right, that was like the main thing of it, was that it repeated everything, and that was how you knew that it caught you or something. Yeah, wow, similar to Boom, almost kind of a bottle episode, because they really don't leave that room very much once they're in it.
Not as much of a bottle episode as Midnight.
No, yeah, where they're literally stuck on the train.
Yeah.
Which
still isn't technically a bottle episode because they had to build a set. Technically, bottle episodes are only bottle episodes if it's a pre-existing set. They just use a pre-existing set, like
the study room in Community.
Well, yeah, right. Well, exactly. When the pen gets stolen, when Annie's pen gets stolen in Community, yes, absolutely. Yeah. I'm with you, Nick. Like, I don't understand how, like, what do you mean it evolves? And my problem with the like, oh, well, it's evolved its game over 500,000 years. It's gotten bored of repeating people, so now it hides behind them. What the fuck? What are you talking about? And also, like, it's just like the idea of like, you're right. Like, at what point is it not that? And then the explanation being like, well, there just isn't an explanation. And I'm like, or maybe you're a bad writer and don't have one and feel like you can justify that by being like, well, I don't know, it's a cosmic mystery. And, it just doesn't feel thought out in a way that I think is confident in any way. It just feels like him using the excuse of this unknowable cosmic being to be able to just do anything and not explain it. Because, like, well, there is no explanation. I don't know. And it feels like a cop-out to me.
I think maybe because we've been dealing with, like, unknowable, like, godlike stuff for, like, I don't know, a season and a half now. do we think that it is like a god, or do we think it's like related to whatever the hell was happening in Wild Blue Yonder, or do we think it's like, is it just like, no, we don't know what this thing is, and it's because like the idea of like a repeating game, and then now it's playing kind of like hide and seek, is interesting. Like it's like weaponizing children's games, but like in a different sort of way than the toy maker did, you know?
Yeah. It would be really cool if there was a reveal that this is not the exact same entity as from Midnight, like later on, and we find out that like Midnight, the things in Wild Blue Yonder, and this thing in this episode are all like baby gods. Like
formless.
they're like brand new gods that are like figuring their shit out. And this is just like, they're like children, like playing, you know? But like they see us all as toys, and that's like really fucked up and cosmically like, ugh, you know, cause they're like, we're like, whatever, we're ants to them. We're toys.
Well,
I think that would be interesting, at least at that point, because you'd just be like, oh, okay, so you did have this thought out. It's just you didn't feel the need to explain in that one. Okay, fair enough. So in retrospect, it could be cool, but I just have a feeling that's not what they're going to do, and they're just never going to explain it. And I don't know. It just doesn't. Yeah.
I think there's two of them, because when they get into the airlock at the end, they're like, okay, there's 7 people. And then on the screen, when 3 of them go in, it shows 4.
Oh, shit.
And then there's 4 of them left, and then because of the stinger at the end, there's the thing that's still attached to her. So I think there are 2 entities.
Oh.
Yeah, one appears to be behind Mo at the very end.
Yeah.
And then the new girl's like, boy, what happened down there, Chief? And she's like, I don't fucking know. And it's like, what? What do you... And it's like, oh, because my brain was like, oh, it somehow got out. And no one noticed it. But I like the kind of Cloverfield theory cast that like there were 2, but then and then it kind of just raises the question of like, but like, so it has a body, or like there's multiple of them, like. But I also really like Scott's new god idea, like the idea of a god taking hundreds of thousands of years to coalesce its lore or its rules, but before it's just this like formless. The idea that was Lux or Maestro at some point, like dealing with dissonant
or some
notes.
future thing, like the beast. You know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Like one of them becomes the beast, or like it would be cool if the 2 things that are on the ship become the things in Wild Blue Yonder.
Oh, that's spooky.
Like that would be cool. But see, like Wild Blue Yonder, which is not, as of today, an official sequel to Midnight, even though it feels like a spiritual sequel, that feels like more of a sequel to Midnight than this does to me.
This one. Yeah.
Because tonally, they're very similar. It's mimicking, but it's like physical mimics instead of like just verbal mimics, you know. It's, I don't know, that one felt much more aligned tonally with Midnight, whereas this one, they're just getting like flung around the room playing hide and seek.
Yeah.
Because like the reveal is when the doctor asks Shia, like, wait, what was this planet called 400,000 years ago? And she's like, Midnight. And the doctor's like, fuck, you know, that TikTok wreck noise should have dropped, you know, like, but I'm picturing another potential scene where, like, you know, the doctor is talking to Alice or something, and he's like, everything's gonna be okay, and Alice will be like, everything's gonna be okay, and the doctor's like, are you repeating me? Like, are you repeating me? And the doctor's like, fuck, get the fuck, we're getting out of here right now. We're not doing this again, you know, like,
right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Shout out to Nchuti Gatwa learning BSL, British Sign Language, on his, like, in Tom Cruise kind of fashion. Like, would go off set after we're shooting and like take lessons to pick up.
That's awesome.
Sign language, yeah.
It makes total sense that there's a BSL because there's ASL and that's American. But I never thought of it, and I was like, I was like, what is the difference? Like, do they like put their pinkies out while they're signing? Like, like I just
everything
like,
spelt a little weird, you know?
Yeah, everything smelled a little different. There's more U's in places that there doesn't need to be. It's just really funny. You would think it would be like universal sign language. You would just have like USL or something.
Yeah,
So it's interesting that there's like different countries have different sign language. It's funny to me.
And Doctor Who Unleashed, Rose Ailing Ellis behind the scenes was like, I'm really excited because like, deaf Whovians are going to lose their shit when the Doctor just like instantly starts speaking sign language. I was like, I didn't even think about that when watching the episode. But yeah, that probably is going to be like a really resonant moment for them, which is cool.
I also, I kind of like wish that there had been some kind of explanation, whereas like her talking, like she's not actually doing that. That's the TARDIS like doing its other language thing. Do you know what I mean? Like that, like if BSL is another language, right? Technically, then like her talking is like the TARDIS interpreting it for the Doctor and for Belinda, and like the other people around them aren't hearing that. I just think that would be really interesting.
Well, I mean, like deaf people can talk.
No, I'm aware of that, Cass.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
I'm aware of that. She is deaf and she's doing it. I'm aware of that. What I'm saying is that like it would have been cool to see if the TARDIS does anything with, and I was just thinking of that as an interpretation.
Okay, I understand.
That's
I
all.
understand.
Of like, because we know that it translates other languages, and so it would be interesting to me to see how the TARDIS would translate sign language.
So interesting because I've always assumed that what the TARDIS is doing is like oral audio, so that the companion and the Doctor's ears are calibrated to where they can understand. But like sign language is like physical; it is communicated with the hands, and so like, would Belinda know sign language through the? I don't know. I've never thought about it in that facet.
Because when they speak in another language,
right?
Yeah, automatically. So there is a physical component, of some kind.
The muscles.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It was making me wonder, like, how would that work? And clearly they didn't put any thought into it in the episode itself, in terms of like what the TARDIS is doing. But I wish that there had been some kind of like something, because she even mentions it in the episode, right? Like she's like at the beginning, she's like, well, do they even speak English? And she's like, the TARDIS takes care of that. Don't worry. About it. So I was like, are they gonna link that up with the sign language and explain that the TARDIS is doing something with the sign
Belinda
language?
apologizes. She's like, I'm sorry, I don't know sign. And Alice is like, you're a nurse that doesn't know sign. That's illegal. And Belinda's like, oh, okay, well.
That's good. I always love the time travel. Whenever time travel comes up, especially around the military, like that's the moment where they're like, this guy's fucking crazy and I want to shoot him. Like it's always the last straw. It's like,
what are you talking about 400,000 years ago?
I'm going to shoot this guy.
Christopher Chung playing Cassio.
Yeah.
Was the kind of more traditional military character. Apparently he's on Slow Horses, which my dad watches, but I haven't visited that world yet.
I thought it was cool that this character was not played by a harumphy looking white guy, like 40-something white guy. That was a nice change of pace.
Like he's still an asshole. But
he's still a total asshole, but he's not like a balding like white guy.
Right.
Gruff, like like one of those guys.
He was like more indignant and hot shot kind of.
Yeah. I liked that. That was good. Yeah. Is Henry Golding British? Is he really British? He would be cool to see on Doctor Who at some point.
Totally. Yeah. I think he is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look this up.
I think he is. I've certainly heard him talk with a British accent.
Yes, he was. He's a British actor of Malaysian origin.
Hell yeah, they should get him on Doctor Who. That would be awesome.
We should be the Master. Imagine that.
Oh my god, that would be so good.
Cass has to reboot for a second.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Other big mystery, potentially a seed that we'll explore is, so at the beginning of the episode, the doctor is like, yeah, it's, nothing's wrong with the TARDIS, but I still can't get to May 2025. And Belinda's like, wait, so does that mean something's wrong with the Earth? And Belinda's like, or doctor's like, listen to me, I promise I will fix this. Like, trust me. And she's like, well, because of the events of Lux, I now trust you, and we'll do a hug. And then later, when they're talking,
even though we've known each other for a collective time period of about 3 hours.
3 hours. Been a really busy 3 hours.
It's been a really busy 3 hours, but it's been about 3 hours.
Wow. And so, there's never a scene in Lux where they like go to a hotel or
right. They've not slowed down since the premiere.
So, but then later they're with the Marines or whatever they are, the military, the doctor's like, oh yeah, human origins, we used to do this. And they're like, humans, what's that? What's that made up bullshit fake word you just said? And they're like, human, Earth. And like, what are you talking about? And so it would appear, perhaps, listener, that humanity and Earth have been scrubbed from universal record. Thoughts, guys?
Well, because the world exploded in 2025.
Yes. Yeah. Wow.
But the doctor doesn't know that yet.
Doctor doesn't know that yet, but we do.
But we know that.
Right.
And therefore,
or we think we know that.
Right.
But it's weird because or not weird, but just, I mean, didn't we just do that? Like, wasn't that what last season was about? Like the cliffhanger of the finale, part 1 of the finale is like, or no, it wasn't the cliffhanger. We said it should have been, but it was the beginning of the last episode where he looks out the thing and he's like, Earth is supposed to be here and there's nothing here. Didn't that happen? He looked out the TARDIS door and there was nothing.
It's the first time Belinda saw outer space. The Earth.
No.
Last
season.
For Ruby. Yeah.
With Ruby.
Yeah.
In the finale.
Yeah, because they're like randomly. Yeah, you're right. That's weird.
They deleted Earth last season too. So it's weird that they just keep deleting Earth. It's like, well, we deleted Earth in season 1, and now I realize we have nowhere left to go but to delete Earth again. Like, because there's nothing. I don't know what else. I don't know what's worse than deleting Earth.
So we'll see.
Is it really funny that like my weird gripe with this episode is the needle drop?
Oh, toxic?
Yeah, because it's like they used it already.
Yes. Oh no, I had the exact same one. Yeah,
that's when I was pointing. I was like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Yeah, why are we doing it? I felt crazy because I was like, "Okay, maybe I just don't know my Britney Spears lore or something enough."
No, yeah.
But I was like, I swear they
an old Earth ballad.
They very famously used this.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Remind me real quick. The episode where Toxic appears.
End of the world.
Yeah.
The second Rose one.
Yeah, the first Cassandra one.
They roll out the jukebox, and she's just like, "I present an ancient Earth ballad," and then they play "Toxic" by Britney Spears.
That's right. That's funny. Yeah,
which was like a new song at the time.
Yeah, and but why Toxic? Like, why?
Yeah.
Why anything?
I feel. I don't know. I'm hoping that all of these because I know we talked about it last week, right? Like the weird like repeated patterns.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's just him or if that's like on purpose.
Right.
And I want it to be on purpose. And I'm just like, okay, so why would you use this song twice if you're not gonna like follow through with it?
Fighting in an episode with a monster that famously used to repeat stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
mm-hmm.
That's weird. That's a lot of repeated. That's a lot of like repeated motifs.
A listener, I don't know if this was Norman or I had to pull the Discord, but a listener recently presented the theory. So potential spoilers, listeners, the theory that Mrs. Flood will be revealed to be the god of stories, and there will be some more meta text where like Doctor Who is on the chopping block in some kind of meta way, like it is in real life currently.
This was Joel on the.
This was Joel.
Yes. Yeah.
Sweet. Thank you, Scott, and thank you, Joel. Of like is Mrs. Flood some kind of like storyteller / cosmic network executive that is like
right.
trying to reboot the show in some kind of way.
I'm the the god of executive decisions.
She's Disney Plus.
She's the studio. She's the the Universal Studio exec. Cosmic Studio exec. Yikes.
Can Disney cancel the show? Do they have that authority?
No,
It's
they
still
can.
BBC.
They can. Well, okay, yes, they can cancel the show, but that doesn't mean that the show ends. That just means it needs to find a new American home.
Okay.
Because that is how it works. Networks cancel the show, but the network isn't necessarily producing the show, just like it isn't here. BBC is producing the show, and like Bad Wolf Studios or whatever. I think that's what it's called, Russell T's studio.
Like my show in real life was made by BBC Studios, and then the network we made it for, Nat Geo, was like, we don't want it anymore, and we're currently trying to find a new home for it.
Right, exactly. So that's what would happen if Disney Plus canceled Doctor Who. And it would likely find someplace, probably. At the very least, I imagine Sci-Fi would be like, I mean, we'll throw our hat in the ring again. We don't got anything going on.
Well.
Time is a circle.
Yeah. So anyway, and then like just the fact that this is called The Well, like the ending of this with her taking the whispery guy and then dropping herself down the well, as if it's just gonna follow her down the well. I don't think she really thought that through particularly well. But calling
just looking at her next to the doctor, being like, "Wow, shit."
Yeah. I don't know why she did that.
That's how it works.
Yeah. Her, like, I don't know why this is called The Well, other than to, obfuscate the actual like connection to Midnight. They're just trying to like be like, oh, I don't know, it's mysterious. The Well, ooh, spooky.
Because it doesn't really factor into the plot of the episode very much.
Right. No. I think it would have been cool to like call this episode like Behind You or something.
Ooh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Or just like The Thing Behind You or something like that. That's like, that would be like more interesting and mysterious than The Well, which I think is an extremely boring title for this. Considering, the only time that it comes up that it's anything is when she drops down the well, which isn't even really a well, it's a mine shaft. Yeah. So it's just like, what are we doing here, guys? Why is
I'm wondering if the title is like the original title from like the first draft of this, and like it was something in a well.
Yeah. I think you might be right there. I think you might be spot on. Because that's what this definitely strikes me as like a Russell T rewrite versus like a co-writing situation. But I think you might be right there, because it just doesn't make any sense. But again, speaking of things repeating, it reminds me a lot of the end of what is that episode called? The Waters of Mars.
Oh, yeah.
Where the female commander is like, well, I'm going to die for the greater good. Here we go. It just kind of like had a very similar like vibe to me, where it was like she didn't even like second guess it. She was like, nope, just doing it. Here we go.
And she like proves to be more heroic than the doctor in that story, who was like pretty kind of self-centered in that story.
Right.
Deservedly so. But
right.
So, when Shia is running and doing her big run to yeet herself down the well, we get VO of her and her childhood, where she's running through that war zone, and she's like, my job is to inspire hope, and that's what I'm here to do. And it's like, kind of meant to be this, I don't know if irony is the right word, because like earlier in the episode, the doctor, one of the Marines is like, oh, I'm picking up life scans, there's still hope, and she's like, hope is irrelevant. And that's sort of this line that is repeated throughout the episode, is like, hope is irrelevant. And then in the end, we learn that like, she's like, oh, I was meant to inspire hope. And like, I wish this was hitting more of like the idea of that being something that she lost at some point through her service and then is gaining in the last moments of her life. Cass, do you have any kind of, did that hit you or resonate with you differently?
I think it landed for me personally.
Nice.
Like it wasn't like overbearing, but it was like still like I remember like being kind of like emotional about it. So I don't know.
I'm glad.
Yeah, I agree that I don't I don't think that really worked for me. I think they needed a little bit extra something. Someone on the Discord pointed out, I think it might have been Joel again, pointed out that it seems like the new producer, Phil Collinson, is sort of like heavily responsible for the pacing of the new show.
Is he new? I thought he's been around for a while.
Phil Collinson?
Yeah.
He's for the last 2 seasons, yeah.
I thought he was like on board before then, but maybe I'm getting names confused.
I don't know. Let me look. Let's see. Do we have the producer credits here?
Phil Collinson.
Oh, sorry, not Phil Collinson. Chris May.
Oh.
Is the current guy. Yeah. Oh, he's just among the producers. I don't know. Well, I don't know.
Oh, he was also a producer on Sarah Jane Adventures.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a good way of. Oh, here we go. Executive producers. You have Julie Gardner, Phil. Oh, there he is. Yeah, Phil Collinson. Let me see. Oh, yeah. I guess he was on in the early bits of the show.
Yeah. Oh,
you're right. Yeah. So I don't know. Then. What the issue here is. Yeah, he started on. It looks like. Well, no, these are in alphabetical order. So yeah, he was just on for series 1 through 4, I guess. But like those felt. Yeah, then I don't know. I wonder what the difference is. But like the pacing on this, it's just again, it's like trying to be too fast paced. Like it doesn't trust the audience to be able to like slow down at all. And in an episode that is literally about them like confronting this evil thing, I just wish that this didn't like it was a little more character centric than it is. It's odd to me that this is so plot centric considering what they're dealing with.
Yeah.
I wish it was a little more character centric than it is. The way that Midnight was, where it was like that
like Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah, that episode was all about like how you meet all the individual characters, you figure out all of their shit, and then it's how all of them are reacting to this thing that is just repeating everything they're saying, you know? Right. And how they react to the situation. And that's not really what this one felt like. It's just like, yeah, you've got the guy who the hothead who's distrusting of, this outsider having more authority than him and, just wanting to kill the thing or whatever, a man of action. And then you have the strong head on our shoulders, Commander. You've got the victim, and then you've got the Doctor and Belinda, and like the rest of the crew you barely know. Like they're there just to be flung around the room
to like
in that
die.
Yeah. And I just think that if this was a little more deliberately paced, I think you could have done something really creepy. I also just think, no offense to the director Amanda Brochi, because who knows if this is even her fault, because it seems to be just like a streaming era problem. But like this episode could have been a lot creepier than it is. I think it's a little overlit, it's just like there's like for an episode that is about something hiding, like there's a weird lack of shadows in this,
In defense of the lack of shadows in the big empty room, I guess that kind of accentuates like the frustration of the military being like, there's nothing in this room. Like, look around you. It is a well-lit, bright room with nothing is behind this person, yet we all keep seeing them. But I do agree with you, Scott. It would have been nice if there was more mood or creepiness, the way that like Waters of Mars did back in the day, perhaps.
Like atmosphere.
Yeah.
Atmosphere.
Yeah. It's just lacking that a little bit, I think. I really wanted this to be like a really creepy, unnerving episode, the way that Midnight and Wild Blue Yonder was, and it just doesn't quite. It's the weakest of those three, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Because Wild Blue Yonder also not a particularly like dark episode, literally.
Right, but figures out ways to like make everything really unsettling. You know,
I was like, did I take an edible? Like this is, I don't feel safe right now.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. Anyway.
Minor detail, but I found it really charming and kind of like nice is the doctor sort of soft launched a new nickname for Belinda, started calling her Belle.
Belinda.
I like how they're, you know, in contrast to Ruby, they're not like instant BFFs for life. It's like slowly over the course of these 3 episodes, he's like getting comfortable enough to like call her Belle, or like, you know, Belinda is trusting the doctor more than she did in the previous 2 episodes. And now next week, to maybe kind of seek into speculation mode, we're seeing the return of Ruby in Joy to the World next week. So how you know, a 2 companion episode.
My theory about that one is I have a feeling that the entire episode is going to be from Ruby's point of view. Like it's not going to be like an episode that opens with the TARDIS. It's going to be like,
and then he just shows up again.
He's just going to show up. Like it's going to be like Blink in that way, where it's like, I feel like it's almost going to be a Dr. Light episode. That's kind of like where my gut is telling me. But we'll see. Lucky Day is what that one is called. Interesting.
Is that also written by Russell T?
Good question.
Guys?
Yeah?
Do you know what the 4th episode was last season?
Was it the Dr. Light one?
73 yards, bitch.
Oh
yeah.
my God. Wow. So they're just repeating everything. That's so crazy. Huh. Interesting.
Well, we all love 73 yards, so here's hoping.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, so this is Pete McTighe wrote Lucky Day, who previously wrote Kerblam and Praxius.
Oh, is that the stupid? No,
this is the gay couple mysteries across planet Earth, all of humanity one. Do you remember with the gay couples? There's like a beach house. The gay couple.
No, I don't remember anything.
No,
Holy shit!
I'm Google imaging it right now.
That sounds fake.
It's a 13 episode.
Yeah, I know. That's why.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, there's like a
shit.
beach.
Oh, yeah. Okay. When you see images of it, Cass, I think some stuff will be like, oh, okay. That it's like they're on a beach and there's gross skin stuff because it was.
Okay. Yeah.
So anyway,
microplastics.
He wrote those 2 episodes. Yeah, the that's right.
Okay.
Microplastics episode.
Yep.
Gay microplastics.
That's what I'm full of.
Enough to make a spoon.
So yeah, that's who is writing Lucky Day.
Okay, okay.
So we'll see if that pans out for any of us. I am less looking forward to next week than I am the week after that. I think the Story in the Engine is like the episode that I've been most looking forward to, just based on title alone.
Yeah.
That's the one where I'm like, oh, what does that mean? Like I'm the most interested in that one. So we'll see how that pans out. But you know, next week hopefully we get like a fun, like, I don't know, something fun. Maybe I don't know if we'll get closure on Ruby Sunday or what the situation is going to be, but I'm looking forward to seeing what goes on in that one. I don't know.
Oh, last thing I wanted to talk about. So the Mrs. Flood appearance in this episode is Mo is giving kind of her dossier, her sort of Ripley at the end of Alien kind of like report. And Mrs. Flood is like, okay, this doctor, was she using this thing? And it's like, oh yeah, like, oh good, he was using a vindicator. That's good. That's very good. Anyway, you're doing great work. Go deal with that thing that's behind you. So we've heard the doctor calling that device that he's been carrying around a vindicator, but now we know Mrs. Flood also knows what that is and calls it a vindicator. Thoughts, speculation, theories.
I think, like whatever reason that she knows what the TARDIS is and how it works and stuff. Like she's just, I don't know, she's like just been creeping on him.
Yeah. I mean, it seems to be that she's certainly able to, I don't know. It's like she's definitely like aware of things in a fourth wall breaking kind of way. So, yeah, I mean, not to just like beat a dead horse, but it really just seems like she's the god of story or something. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe in the story in the engine.
Yeah. I will say though, there's a moment where like after they like Halo jump onto the planet.
Yeah.
And he's got the vindicator and he turns it on and he's like talking to Belinda and he's just sort of like haphazardly like turning it on. If you look at the vindicator, it's so obviously made of rubber, like it's really funny because it's just like flopping around in his hand. And it's clearly supposed to be made of metal, but it's just really funny.
Oh man,
props. Quarries. Yep.
Oh, and Scott, we get our single Inshutigawa tier.
We sure do.
Mm-hmm.
It's still happening. The streak has not been broken. I feel like the only episode that he appears in that he doesn't cry a single tear might be his first episode, The Giggle. I don't think he's around long enough to cry a single tear in that, and I don't think he does in
Space Babies.
No, I was gonna say he definitely cries in that. The 47 yards, whatever the
73 yards,
73 yards, because he's like barely in that, so I don't think he cries in that either. But I think that's it. I think it's just those two.
What if the Christmas goblins come back next week?
Oh, I love that.
I'd be happy about that, I guess.
That would be fun, actually.
Ruby.
It's not Christmas, but we're here.
Oh, these fucking things.
Just got some shotgun.
Oh man.
It's just her boyfriend waiting for her in their apartment. And she just comes in, storms in, be like, it's goblins, and walks into her bedroom, and he's like, what? Walks out with the shotgun. It's goblins, and then walks out.
Oh, I love that.
Top 5 episode of all time.
Oh my god,
From the
that would
jump.
be incredible. Anyway, all right. Next week we have Lucky Day. We will see. Oh yeah, that's interesting. Actually, the first time we met her, her whole thing was that she was like really unlucky, right?
Yeah.
That was like her whole thing.
Oh shit, Cass, goblins.
I hope the goblins come back.
That's right. Yeah, I think the goblins might come back. Bring it back.
Nice.
Let's do it. Bring the goblins back.
Get another song.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. We'll talk to you next week with Lucky Day. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.